I spent 11 days backpacking through Panama's backcountry. In this video, I'll be walking 216 kilometers, hiking and camping through its badlands, up steep mountains, and on its long beaches, accompanied by nothing but my thoughts and a dog who probably saved my life, but I'll get to that later. My journey begins in a place called La Yeguada, known for its green lake and expanses of pine trees. When you think of Panama, this is the last type of landscape that comes to mind. As I walked through this small town, a dog decided to tag along with me. That morning I was following logging roads and exploring around the reserve. This was about the time when I realized what I got myself into. Long, hot roads with very little shade. But I pushed on, eventually making it to the top of my first hill, where I was immersed into a sea of towering pine trees. Back on the road again, my next destination was La Cilampa. During the walk, a local passing in his truck offered me a ride, as he said it was much too hot to be walking. And soon enough, I was standing at the base of the mountain. And a 3-kilometer hike, I was standing at the top. As I made my way down the mountain and the sun started to sink in the sky, I was greeted by something that would take away the heat from the day, a natural spring lagoon. With all the walking from that day behind me, that afternoon was spent swimming, making and eating dinner, and watching the sun go down. The next morning, I took down my camp and started hiking further into the valley, fighting the wind all the way down. The trail took me onto another logging road, which stretched out like a ribbon against the green hills. It then brought me back into the forest reserve, where I found a stream to fill up my water. This road was also hot and didn't seem to have an end, and I was also faced with a new possible danger: jaguars. I continued down that trail all day, which took me to an overflow dam and a massive waterfall. But the sun started to set, so I decided to set up camp. Day 3, I took it as a rest day, because the following day would be one of the longest days of the trip. So I just took a quick hike around the lake to find a better campsite. Not much happened. I sat under a tree, took some drone shots of the lake, made a fire, ate dinner, and hung out with my dog.
Down the mountain, another calling on the fire brigade. Bury all the pictures.
4 a.m. is when I set out for my 30-kilometer day. Today I'd also be hiking over the border between Veraguas and Cocle, two of the provinces within Panama. But that morning is one I'll never forget. I was hiking in the dark when a shape moved inside my headlamp's light. I saw two glowing eyes, just 20 feet away. A jaguar. Everything went still. Then the stray dog that was following me suddenly lunged at it, barking wildly, and drove it off. In a few seconds it was gone, and so was my chance of being its breakfast. After my scare that morning, I continued on the trail, which brought me to the top of the Loma Chata mountain. The views of the sunrise that morning were something unlike I'd ever seen. But little did I know that there was something 10 times more breathtaking waiting for me. Hiking 20 more kilometers that day, I made it to the Picachos de Ola. Like giant knives sticking out of the ground, I couldn't help but feel like a small, insignificant speck in this massive world. After watching the better part of the sunset, I hiked back down the mountain before it got too dark, and made some dinner and started washing some clothes at the visitor center at the base of the mountain. There's a part of me that didn't want to leave the mountain that day, but I had to get a move on. After walking into town and catching the bus to my next destination, I had an 8-kilometer hike to my campsite where I left my bag and went light into the mountains. The terrain was rough, and with men passing by with their horses, I felt as though I was walking in the Wild West.
Sunshine beating on the good times, moonlight racing from the grave, string band playing more of that honky tonks, pretty young thing going dancing in the rain. High heel lady spitting at the Nicky Jacks, businessman with a needle and a spoon, coyote chewing on a cigarette pack of young boys going howling at the moon. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town. Lesson my sense catches up with me.
After taking a quick swim at the base of the waterfall, I returned back to camp and made dinner. This camp had proper bathrooms and a shower, which I was very excited for. On the morning of day 6, I let myself wake up with the sun, since I wasn't in a rush. After packing up, I hiked 8 kilometers back through the farming town and caught the first bus at the main road to Las Uvas. From there, I took a connecting bus to El Valle de Antón, where I stocked up on food for the next 5 days. I reached my campsite later that afternoon, made dinner, and settled into my hammock, knowing the next day would be another long one. I woke up at 4 a.m. to get a head start before the heat set in. After passing through town, I reached the trailhead of Yeguada. The trail was steep, windy, and soaked from rain. But when I reached the top, I could see the town as the clouds gave way a little. I made my way back down the mountain and passed through another farming town on my way to Yeguada. This trail was much different than the ones I'd been doing the past few days, as it had stairs going all the way up, which was nice for a change. At the top, I was rewarded with 360-degree views of the valley and its surrounding area. After spending some time at the top of the mountain, I decided that I should head back down. After following the jungle trail through the opposite side of the mountain, I made my way to the lake at the base. That evening, I set up camp and enjoyed the views by the lake. Day 8 was very uneventful. All I did was spend the day hiking the smaller mountains around the lake and reminiscing about the past week and the adventures I had.
There's something happening here What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind.
On the morning of day 9, I continued towards Chame. My phone unfortunately ran out of space, so I couldn't record the journey. After a short walk from Bejuco, I reached the base of Cerro Chame, a climb I'd been wanting to do for a long time. The hike up was hot and humid, a clear shift from the inland mountains to the coastal air. At the top, I was blown away by the views, rugged peaks with the blue ocean stretching out behind them. I spent the afternoon exploring the mountain and fell asleep under the stars. After waking up slightly wet from a cloud that settled on top of the mountain overnight, I began to make my way down. Hiking along another long, hot road, I eventually made it to Punta Chame, the end of my hike. Passing through the town, I resupplied on water and made the short walk to the beach. Standing at the point seemed surreal. The past 10 days had passed so quickly, yet at the same time it felt like I'd been on the trail for so long. I almost wasn't ready to admit that it was the end of my journey. I spent that evening watching the kite surfers, but had to move spots because if I was to camp where I originally planned, the wind would have buried me in sand overnight. Setting up camp with only a tarp under me and my sleeping bag, I soon fell asleep for the last time on this trek. Waking up to the sunrise, I ate my breakfast a little slower that morning, then packed my gear and headed back to town. A short walk later, I was standing at the bus stop. After 216 kilometers, sore legs, worn shoulders, probably looking a little bit more weathered than I thought I did, and my mind replaying all the memories of the past 10 days, I stepped on the bus and headed home. A trip I will never forget.